hospitals, etc. Yeah? So we developed a method and also a couple of pieces of software where you can demarcate a national web. You can do so by any number of different techniques, by domain name, by language, by IP range, by whois. Yeah, and each of these have different, create slightly different national webs. You can triangulate, you can use a combination, mixed methods, etc. Yeah? We created one piece of software, it's called generatenational.net. It's very simple. You just go to generatenational.net and you scroll down .fr and you then click it, and what it does is it goes to a variety of search engines, pulls back all the results, throws out duplicates, and you have a list of national websites, largely the top ones. You can also, it has a feature where it also queries for second level domains, right? So you can get governmental French sites, what are they? Non-governmental French sites, what are they? Or any other country. And then what we do with these URLs, and we build them out over a period of time, is we try to diagnose the condition of the national web. I mean, it's interesting, we're going to do a project on the Zimbabwean web soon, but you can also do it on larger webs. And we look for these kinds of things, yeah? So how youthful is the web? Yeah? So we look at how fresh websites are. How broken is the web? Does it have a lot of broken links? We use link validators. How cohesive is a national web? Do national sites tend to link to other national sites, or do they link more internationally? How dated is the web, is the national web? Are they using really dated software? How dated are the users? Then you need to get into different kinds of statistics. But you look at the browser versions of the particular users. This is just a very, very quick example. This is the US, according to types of top-level domains and second-level domains. So the US comes across as a very .com society. Just for comparative sake, this is the Palestinian territories, .ps. You see that it is a .org society. In terms of cohesiveness, these are maps made with the issue crawler, and this is a part of a project called Mapping the Palestinian Web Space that we did together with Cambridge University and the University of Toronto. And in the project of mapping the Palestinian web space, we were looking for whether or not online, whether the supposed differences between Fatah and Hamas were present or whether they were absent. Yeah? So is the Palestinian world online one of togetherness, or are they quite separate? So we performed link analysis to look at how cohesive these two groups were. We took Fatah-related sites, Hamas-related sites, ran hyperlink analysis on them. We found a Hamas web that was quite sort of civic, linked to NGOs, news sources, etc. And we found a Fatah web that was quite civic, newspaper links, NGO links, etc., and a Hamas web which had very, very few links. The only links in the Hamas web were links to RSS readers. So it's as if the Hamas web their network is basically a direct subscription network. Yeah? So it doesn't link. It's only something that is kind of under the radar. It's difficult to analyze. Yeah? But it shows two very, very different webs in one national web space. I will do one more and then finish, because Bruno's just gave me the sign. Social networking sites. How are they normally studied? Social networking sites are oftentimes studied as a sort of, as opportunities for new forms of presentation of self. And oftentimes one looks into the software and see whether or not, what kind of selves are enabled and what kind of selves are constrained. There's other work that looks into social networking sites as a sort of rerun of kind of class warfare, or at least social class divides. So MySpace has a particular type of user demographic, particular type of user, whereas Facebook is university users, etc. Two different kind of classes. And also when people study social networking sites, they look into like the difference between real friends and friended friends. this whole authenticity of friends. How else to study social networking sites? We have begun to, we've coined a term, we've begun to think through a notion that one could do something beyond demographic work. Right? So oftentimes, social networking sites are studied for the demographic. You know, who uses them, how old are they, how educated, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. But what's interesting with social networking sites is that social networking sites, people's profiles, they show people's interests also. Their favorite books, their favorite movies, their favorite TV shows, their heroes, favorite music, etc. Yeah? And these can be profiled. So what I am proposing is a particular study that takes sets of friends' profiles and shows a kind of set of interests. Yeah? So you can study interests. Now we built a piece of software. This is an art project at the moment. It's a kind of proof of concept. It's called elfriendo.com. I invite you to go there, Elfriendo. And it's if you're a lazy person and you want to build and you want to have a social networking platform, it'll auto-generate one for you based on a single interest. So one interest, type it in, it'll auto-generate a profile. What it does is it goes to, in this case, MySpace, and it looks up people who have that particular interest, yeah, and then it looks up what their other interests are, and it does a calculation to create a particular profile. You can also check compatibility between two users. Do they have the same interests or not? Are they compatible, etc. So you can do also profiling makeovers. So your profile is a bit stale, and you want to refresh it. But you can also do research, not necessarily with Elfriendo per se, but with the technique. What you see before you are two profiles, the sets of profiles, the friends of Obama versus the friends of McCain. And then you see not necessarily what their ages are, what their incomes are, what their level of university of education is, but rather you see, if you will, post-demographics. That is, what you see is that Obama's friends' favorite music has zero compatibility with McCain's friends' music. You see that Obama's friends' movies have 0% compatibility with McCain's movies. You see what TV shows Obama friends watch and what TV shows McCain friends watch. So for example, the Obama TV shows, the ones are The Daily Show, Lost, and Heroes, whereas for McCain, it's Family Guy, Project Runway, Top Chef, and America's Top Model. So this is what I use the term post-demographics, sets of interests that give an idea of a particular type of post-demographic. So interest-based analysis of sets of friends. I will skip Wikipedia in the interest of time and go to the very, very final slide. Digital methods for new media research. We can rethink through how to study links, how to study websites, how to study engines, spheres, webs, social networking sites. I would invite you to join me in this urgent undertaking. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Richard. So we have lots of things to discuss and to understand first. And I think you thought that we are moving from the digital, from the virtual to the digital, but some of us here in Transport might be before the virtual. So we need you have to bear with us if we ask many questions, which are the beginning of your. So maybe we can have more light. No? Can we have more light? But now we need to see one another. So who wants to begin? Well, the beginning is always difficult, so I will ask the first question about I want to be sure if I understand the difference between digitalized